Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and these are some of the top stories we have for you tonight. The governor gets booed by hundreds of teachers on St. Croix. We get a response from the governor himself and Senate President Ronald Russell. Also tonight, Wes Small meets with the authors of Conversations with Gods. These stories and more up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, it looks as though Governor John DeYoung's popularity has dropped severely lately. Earlier today, the governor tried to speak in front of hundreds of teachers and administrators at the education complex. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Yeah, thank God it's Friday, but it's a lot of fireworks here at the complex. What was supposed to be actually a surprise offer that the governor was going to give the teachers here at MiniQuest, maybe some good news, like perhaps they get some of their back wages or some of their money or so forth. I got to tell you, doesn't look like they let them get a chance. Apparently they booed them off the podium. And let's go to some of the footage.
We must put aside our individual needs and truly mean it when we say that our efforts are focused on what is best for our community. And I say this fully recognizing how difficult it will be for every person in this room and for their families. I am also aware that some of you are not very happy with me. We cannot We cannot let this crisis immobilize us. We know that's all right.
Meanwhile, here's what it looked like inside earlier today.
I have a vision of the St. Croix Federation of Teachers, a union that is commitment to the best educational opportunity for all children and to advance the agenda and lift the disadvantage in this community and to strengthen this community. I have a vision of a union that will be politically involved, not to any party, but politically involved, that our issues of community building, of caring, and of doing what is right is happened.
We are elected to make decisions, and we actually hold the positions that would make decisions that affect your lives. And instead of being antagonistic, we need you to walk with us. I understand, and we need you to accept that we are in a serious financial crisis. And to that end, and I don't mind, I mean, you have a right to react, but I also am going to say what I need to say. During difficult financial times, difficult decisions were made.
It's not fair that we have to pay the price for the inadequacies of our leaders. That is not okay. And the A.F.T. will definitely move to do what we have to do next November, clearly. So you need to make sure that you balance that budget. That budget needs to be balanced. And there's no more unpaid holidays coming our way. No, that will not happen.
Well, right now, let's go to Governor John DeYoung and see what he has to say.
I think that initially, Mr. Howell riled them up, which he should. He's the president.
Yes, sir.
And I think they were listening to me.
until until the previous president decided to go in forth when I was speaking. Tyrone Mullen.
Yes,
I think so. That's what I think. I think I understand the teachers' aggravation, their frustration.
Yes,
What I don't understand is the inability of the leadership to at least giving us a chance to speak. I'm not saying you have to agree with what we're going to say.
Yes, sir.
But we're talking to professionals. We're talking to teachers. We're here solely for one purpose. That's our children.
Yes, sir.
And I think that for Mr. Howell and others not to at least stop the previous president so we could finish our remarks says something. It gives an indication of what we're dealing with when we sit down at the negotiation table.
Yes, sir.
And that's the problem. And I think that's not very reflective. At the end of the day, we know that we're in a difficult situation. We know that people are upset. But I want to remind you of a couple things. We have not dismissed one teacher or paraprofessional or one support staff member. Over 280,000 jobs in the United States were gone. In September alone, 24,000 people in public education lost their jobs.
Yes, sir.
In the Virgin Islands, all teachers went back to school, all support staff, all paraprofessionals. We've done a lot of things differently. And I think for the leadership not to have shown leadership today speaks very poorly as we begin a very important process.
Sir, you came here today to deliver a message. Would that message be that you're going to give the teachers their due money back? Like I understand that you had an announcement that perhaps you were going to put an offer for them on the table that they could take?
My message is that I'm willing to sit down with the teachers. I'm willing to sit down with the A.F.T. to talk about a contract.
Yes, sir.
It's important that we talk about that contract. It's important that we also look at national test scores and recognize that Virgin Islands students are not even at the halfway point, that in math and reading, that our students are below average.
Yes.
So I want to have those sort of dialogues. Talk to me about what we're going to do in those areas,
Yes, sir.
and we can have discussions about. I understand how important teachers are to our schools, to the future of our children, and I will pay them fairly. But we're in contract negotiations, and I want to have a discussion that is wide-ranging.
Okay, one more thing, please.
Sure.
The LEOC, sir. The LEOC is virtually destroying the Virgin Islands. Can you do anything about this LEOC? Are you planning to please try to get rid of this deadly LEOC?
Well, remember something. I'm similar to everybody. I live in my own home. So this LEOC has gone up, and I feel it every month just like you. So I understand completely, and I am just as frustrated. The thing that we've got to do is that what we've got to do is get off of oil. When all is said and done, that is what's hurting us. And that's the process that we're going through right now, to see if there's a way that we can get off of our dependence always on oil, so we can get away from the fluctuation of fuel prices. We've come up with some programs that give individuals a chance to put in retrofitting of hot water heaters, solar heaters, businesses to help them with a 60-40 grant that would allow them to retrofit to bring down electricity costs. That's what we're trying to do. Remember, we have been on this situation since 1967, if not before. We've got to find a way to get off, and we're going to get off, but it's going to take us some time to get there. And we're trying to see what we can do in the interim, but as long as oil prices continue to go up, we are at risk. And we're trying to see what else we can do to mitigate that.
Thanks, Wes. And now we hear a response from the American Federation President James Howell about the incident.
What do you think? What is going on? Are the teachers happy or what?
Really and truly, the members are not happy, and the members' frustration was seen very evident today with the behavior.
Okay. What is the next step?
Well, the union is going forward on its course. We have a course. We are staying on this course. We will not be detracted or dissuaded from our course. We are working for the betterment of the community. And this is what we are concerned about, that everyone in this community be included. Everyone in this community feel that this is a place that they are supposed to live, where we are making a difference and we are going forward. We cannot have a community where there are haves and have-nots. We need a community where the prosperity of the community is distributed equitable and is not being distributed right now.
Thank you very much, James Howell, American Federation Teacher President.
And now Senate President Ronald Russell gave his opinion on the matter as well. News Channel 8's Wes Small files this report.
It was kind of heated up there. Your words, sir, on what's going on.
Well, the teachers showed a lot of frustration, rightfully so, because as you mentioned, the LEAC, the cost of living, the 8%, and they showed the frustration. When I said about trust, I believe that the legislature should be the one leading now. We have a plan to our next financial committee meeting to try to get all of the financial information to see how we could adjust the budget, not as the governor has planned, but as the legislature wants to move forward. So we have a difference of opinion in the branches of government. The LEAC, we are vigorously pursuing the LEAC. and to get federal help. I believe at this point in time that it's incumbent on me as a leader and as a president to go to the federal government and try to get relief for the LEAC. It's just impossible to live here and run a business unless we deal with the LEAC.
Wouldn't that be delicate to Congress's position too? Doesn't Obama know about us down here with this? Can't she say something?
Well, I don't know what the delegate or the governor is doing.
Yeah.
They've joined in the effort to get the grid system with me, and we had some resolutions. But I think it's time to go directly to Congress, go directly to John Hess, go to people who could make a difference in the people's lives right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that. Whether or not the governor or the delegate does, I'm going forward with that.
Thank you, Senate President Ronald Russell. I have to ask you this. Last night in Senate chambers, Senator Alicia Chucky Hansen and you going at it. What in the world is going on?
I'm not going at it with Alicia Chucky Hansen. That's a type of politics that I just don't ever engage in, and I've never done it, and I won't. I think it's very clear that Jamila Russell works for Mr. Pemberton, and anybody who wants to deal with Jamila Russell and her radio should go to Mr. Pemberton. I think that the politics of back and forth and the politics of trying to call names and blaming, I've never been in that politics, so I'm not with that. We have a territory to lead, to make important decisions about the LEAC, about the 8%, about the economy, and I'm going to focus on that.
And when we come back from this break, we'll take a look at the 4th annual White Cane Safety Day. Stay with us on Channel 8. And let's take a look at your Caribbean report for tonight. In your Caribbean report tonight, we start in St. Kitts, where, according to the acting head of the Criminal Investigation Department, Sergeant Edward Drew, at approximately 5:05 this morning, police received reports of a shooting incident at Cardian Avenue. We responded immediately and conducted inquiries that revealed that shortly after 5 a.m., Mr. Noel Zambo Heath was outside of his home at the side of the road when some unknown persons fired a number of shots at him. The bullets struck him several times about the body, and he was taken to the J.N.F. Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. And in St. Lucia, the last 30 days have been very exciting and productive for members of the police force in their fight against illegal drugs and firearms, netting an impressive amount of illegal items, even confiscating a cargo boat, vehicles, and stamping their presence in almost every community on the island. Police Commissioner Vernon Francois commended the work of the St. Lucia Police Force in a press release and media event held earlier this week. He vows to continue his pursuit to keeping guns, gangs, drugs, and other illegal elements off the island of St. Lucia. And finally tonight, Santo Domingo and Puerto Rico, in two separate announcements, have created the largest wind farms in the Caribbean, and they appear to be moving forward. On Thursday, the VICNI, a leading assessment management firm in the Dominican Republic and throughout the Caribbean, celebrated the inauguration of Los Cocos, a wind farm project to be the largest in the Caribbean with a generation capacity of 100 megawatts. Thursday marked the completion of the first phase of the project, including 19 windmills that account for approximately 3% of the Dominican Republic's power capacity and provides electricity to more than 90,000 families on the island. And that's your Caribbean report for tonight. And imagine how it would feel to be blind. News Channel 8's Wes Small was at the 4th annual White Cane Safety Day at Flamboyant Gardens.
The whole idea of the White Cane legislation is to alert drivers that it is the law and they must yield to persons with white canes in a crosswalk. Now that is the law in general. Anybody in a crosswalk, the driver should stop. But as we all know, many of them don't.
Now we're with some AmeriCorps volunteers here on White Cane Awareness Day. And who do we have here with us today?
My name is Ari O'Brien.
Ari O'Brien. And is this your field then, taking care of disabled people and volunteering and so forth?
Yes, sir. This is my first year serving with AmeriCorps. I think it's a very fulfilling job and duty that we're doing here to serve the community. And I hope to do it again next year.
What does it mean on White Cane Awareness Day and so forth here at Flamboyant Gardens? What does it mean for AmeriCorps volunteers?
Well, it means a lot
learning, caring, and lots of responsibilities. You can never tell where you're going to be one day, because I've been wearing glasses from 3 years old, so I don't know if I'll be one of them. Couple years in time to come, most probably I'll be one of the white cane volunteers.
All right, now we have someone here, and he's actually out of Ronald Russell's office, Senator Ronald Russell's office. He's one of the staff here, and boy, with the blindfold, I kind of forget your name.
My blindfold causes your memory loss. We're in trouble with.
Let's just leave it like that. How does it make you feel on White Cane Awareness Day with vision impaired? Do you really feel lost out there?
I feel lost since I put the blindfold on. Before I was just an observer and appreciating the efforts of the volunteers and the leaders in the Lions and the support group. But this is an entirely different feeling than I had, 3 or 4 minutes ago.
And how long have you had this blindfold on exactly?
About 3 or 4 minutes.
3 or 4 minutes.
And it's very disorienting. I mean, I'm not sure where I am anymore.
I do have multiple sclerosis, and we've most recently started a support group, the help of Cassandra Paul, who is a member of our organization. And we do meet Mondays, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And for anyone who knows someone who's a caregiver, who just wants information, who wants to support us, we do meet and we welcome you there. Mondays, every 2 weeks, multiple sclerosis. We're trying to make a difference. We're trying to find a cure. That's what we're trying to do.
It's 5:30 to 7:30, AARP office.
Yes.
And Mondays, y'all meet like every
yes,
Monday.
Yes, we do. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 17th, which is this coming Monday.
And Barron Spot at Flamboyant Gardens. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. When we come back from this break, conversations with the gods. Stay with us on Channel 8. Two dynamic authors will be signing a book called Conversations with the Gods this weekend. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the details.
Thank you very much, Jerome. The name of the book we're featuring today is Conversations of the Gods. And I'm here now with Ezra Maxwell and Christopher Monbelli. To the right, they're the two authors. And I have to tell you, this reporter's been pretty busy. But when I saw this book, man, a big smile came over my face. The guys in the newsroom said, boy, he loves to get a new book. And I just glanced at it a little bit, but basically y'all are going to get into it. And the book signing is at Sunny Isle. Applause. Let's get into Conversations of the Gods.
Yeah, Conversations of the Gods is written in, it's in a dialogue format. That's why it's called the Conversations of the Gods. And actually, the book is written from a non-political, non-religious perspective.
Yes, sir.
The objective of the book is to get readers to think outside of the box of popular beliefs and opinions, and to present clear truth based on scientific, mathematical, logical, historical perspective.
Okay. And how does this book play into times today? One of the excerpts that I read last night or this morning before I got to work was a statement that said, evil has no horse. Evil has no transportation. They're smiling. They say, Wes, you did get into the book a little. Evil needs a carrier. You agree to that? Like evil, it's like a science fiction on Star Trek. Evil needs a body to do the dirty work. You agree to that, Christopher?
Yeah, that's saying that evil is actually weak. And without a vessel for evil to carry out its work, is harmless. You understand? Yeah, so it's legless, it's faceless. It doesn't exist unless we bring it into existence.
Wow. All right. Tell us more then on what people can get when they get this book, and how can they get a hold of this book?
Well, there are definitely a lot of treasures in this book because, like I often tell Chris, treasures of true value never lies above ground. They're buried deep down below the surface, and unless one is thinking deeply, you cannot bring them to the surface. These treasures happen to be truth. And this is what this book is all about. There are different chapters, various chapters in this book, but everything centers around truth. And this is what people expect to get when they read this book.
All right. Well, I imagine that if people come to Applause Saturday morning at what time?
At 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock in the afternoon until?
2 till 5.
2 to 5. Then they'll be able to ask some questions about the book and so forth and get more out of it, you know, like we're experiencing today. Come talk to these brothers. You'll be enlightened intellectually. I'm Wes Small on this week's Book Corner on News Channel.